Another really great thing to start developing here in this second path is more organic style strumming. Thinking about dynamics, how loud and how soft you're strumming. If I was to apply that to a chord, for instance, now I'm using the down, down, up, down, up strum I was just talking about, but notice how different it sounds as I'm adding in this dynamic. Maybe I'm using bar chords as well. Right? Different kinds of things like that. All of these things require development. In order to do what I just did, I've got to be able to lift and shift between these chords. I've got to know all these chords. I had to have practiced bouncing them, studying them on the fretboard, right? And now what I'm doing is I'm applying this strum to it. I'm applying a strumming pattern and I'm adding some human element of dynamics to it, a real world element of dynamics. Now, there's a thing I call ocean strumming or organic strumming. I call it either one of those. And basically what happens there is when you strum, instead of strumming a pattern, you're just strumming what feels right to you. So let's say, for instance, I went back to my metronome. I'm at 100 here. And what I want to do in this organic strumming is, instead of playing a strumming pattern, I'm just going to start moving my hand down and up, hitting all the notes, or excuse me, all the beats. Let me put it on here. You can hear that a little better. Okay? I'm just going to start hitting all those. And what I'm going to do is randomly start moving away from the strings and then come back in. Now, this isn't something I might have done in path number 1 because I'm just learning the basics of strumming. But maybe now I'm ready to start advancing that a little bit. I can't do this in chord at the same time, maybe, but I can practice it on its own. So I'm just randomly moving in and out. Okay, so listen. Now, at some point, I might start hearing something that I like. Dun, dun, da, da, dun, ba, da, da, dun. Okay? So I'm not thinking about 1E and a 2E at this point. What I'm doing is I'm just allowing the music to sort of take over. Now, sometimes strumming patterns are very, very important, and that's why I've talked about a couple of different ideas. You can study all kinds of, again, I can't show you 482 strumming patterns in this practice routine. You've got to decide, hey, I need some strumming patterns, so I need to grab some strumming patterns, right? Or I've already developed some strumming patterns. I need to learn how to strum more organically, right? These are options for you to try and decide. So as I'm playing, what I'm doing is I'm trying to feel it a bit more and start thinking about, instead of 1E and a 2E, I just start thinking about what feels right. Especially if I'm listening to a song and I'm trying to kind of play along with something that feels more like the song. Okay, let me start my metronome. Now, I don't have to not repeat something. I can repeat anytime I want. I can do whatever I want. But it's just learning how to feel something. So when I can start learning how to add those dynamics, the loud and soft stuff, to this organic strumming, all of a sudden it begins to sound more and more like real music. Now, I want to learn to apply that to the chords that I'm developing in path number 2 here. Okay, I want to start learning how to do this. So I might pick 2 chords that I know very, very well. G and D, whatever it might be. See what I mean? Now, as I'm organically strumming here, sometimes I'm starting on the down, sometimes I'm starting on the up, and I'm not paying any attention. It's just I am able to do that. Where some people, when they play, they have a hard time starting on an up. They always feel like they have to start on a down, right? And it's something that's built into us. So we have to get used to being able to allow our hand to move and be able to start on that up without it feeling weird. For me, my arm is literally like a metronome or a maraca, playing a maraca. That's the way I think about my arm as I play. I just move away and come back in whenever I feel like it. So the downs and the ups have no adverse impact on what it is I'm doing. They're just there, okay? So this is a great time for you to start exploring some of this kind of strumming if you've already developed real basic strumming from the first path, for instance. Just learning how to strum down, learning how to strum up, learning how to strum down and up, right? That sort of thing. Or maybe in the first path, you learned a few different strumming patterns, and now you're trying to explore more of this organic idea.